This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a topic.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge. Our awesome Patreon, where if you donate to it and help us hit the $200 a month mark, we will start That's Hell You're Walking Into, a podcast where I hold Ben down and shine the information of fate and fate grand order into his brain. Kind of like that bit in A Clockwork Orange, but probably even more painful, let's be real. It'll be great. I enjoy doing it so much. Ben tolerates it because he's a good sport. We might do another preview episode at some point down the line so that you can see. I say another because we already did one preview episode. Yep. If you want to go check it out and be like, that sounds great. I want to hear a crazy person go on at length about mana transfers, which you do because it's awesome. So yeah, go to patreon.com/thegorge. Thanks.
So what are we talking about this week, though?
This week, we're not actually talking about video games because we don't do that all the time. Sometimes we talk about other things. Sometimes we talk about anime. And this week, we're talking about BEASTARS. Just the anime, not the manga. On Netflix, 12 episodes, extremely good. It's a furry podcast now, folks. I'm in my fursuit. I'm minding my business. It's all good.
This Animal Crossing anime got weird.
Yeah, it got really dark.
It got dark. I didn't expect it to get so dark.
It's the sequel to that movie, and there was like a time skip, and they did that thing where it got really more edgy after the time skip, you know? It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But it's good. Man.
It was really good.
BEASTARS was really good. I extremely enjoy BEASTARS a lot. It starts out kind of, I don't know. BEASTARS has such like a weird start where like everything happens so much, you know? Where like there is no build-up the way other anime sometimes do, where like the first episode is kind of chill, and then, you know, the first episode kind of ends on like the actual setup for what's going to happen for the rest of the season. No, this fucking thing pops off.
It starts off with a murder. And
then starts off with our good boy Legoshi, trying to eat a rabbit, and then it just keeps on going from there.
This show does a really good job of really solid world building.
Yes. Oh my god, that's the best part of this show.
Considering like the actual scope we have is only focused on this one school, but we get like a really, really good look at like the structure of the society.
Yeah. Like
with even just like little like bits of dialogue here and there, does an excellent job of setting up like, oh, this is just how things work in this world.
Yeah, it has this, and it's like all totally accepted. I think there's a good YouTuber named Jack Saint who talked about a few months ago like how using animals as like a metaphor for human society doesn't really work, like, and references explicitly Zootopia, the Disney movie. And then he did a follow-up video that was just about BEASTARS, and it's like, never mind, this is the one show that does it right. Yeah.
The thing that I think BEASTARS does a good job about, compared to other shows or products that like do the animals as people thing, is that BEASTARS takes that extra step to like solidify that like the animal part of them without it being just kind of like a visual coding or like a shortcut for like personality traits, you know?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I haven't seen Zootopia, so I can't say for sure, but like when I think about stuff like Animal Crossing or anything like that, like the animal designs are just kind of decorative, and they're used to give you like a good understanding of like of character and personality without having to like say it out loud, you know?
Right, without having to design more human designs. You can just use kind of animals, like animal designs as shorthand for what kind of character. Like you can say snooty wolf and everybody knows exactly what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Or snooty cat or whatever. And yeah, no, for BEASTARS, it isn't just like a set dressing thing, and it isn't used to just be like Zootopia is about the whole carnivores and herbivores kind of dichotomy as well, but it's also kind of used as like a a poorly done racial allegory.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it for more than 5 minutes, you think like, is Zootopia kind of is saying like maybe racism is justified? Because it's like, like it's one of those things where you can't think about it too hard, or somebody who was writing this movie did not think about it too hard. And the person who wrote BEASTARS definitely thought about it extremely hard. It's not used as like a racism allegory.
That's what I think really makes it set it apart. Is like the elements are there, but because they're not the focus, like the crux of the story, and they're not. It's not trying to write like a direct comparison. Like there's obvious tensions going on between here, but like it does a good job of like reshaping that dynamic.
Yeah.
To not feel like a really clumsy like bad racial allegory.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not really like about like the racial aspect of it, more so about like the drama of trying to live in like society, like a society that kind of doesn't understand and is divided along almost like class lines and stuff like that. I think that kind of thing is super, super interesting. And yeah, BEASTARS just has this really fascinating like idea of what is good and what is bad, and the whole like these lives that like carnivores have to live. One of the best like bits is the whole idea of like the dog boys all getting out into like the grown-up world and being like, oh hey, everybody's living in peace. And it's like, yeah, everybody's living in peace because like carnivores just have accepted that you kind of have to live off of black market meat in order to be a functioning member of society. And I think stuff like that is just so like smart and clever, and it's so good. Like just the kind of building outwards from like just very small to very big story is done super, super well.
I think the black market is a really good example of what we're talking about with that, because it's like it answers the question like, well, what do carnivores eat?
Yeah.
Well, they eat meat.
Yeah, they can't just eat eggs and soy forever. They have to eat meat, you know?
It's super frowned upon, and it's literally called the black market, where they go and they get, hospital they raid like morgues and stuff like that to get the meat. And if you're really daring, you can find a live one. Yeah, or there's just like poor herbivores selling their fingers at the entrance to the black market, which is grotesque. It's like, oh, that answers the question then. There you go. And it's like, it's such an accepted thing. Like that's the crazy part, or the fascinating part, I guess, is that it is completely accepted. It's just everybody seems to understand that their society functions because carnivores can go to this black market. You know what I mean? Like the whole reason carnivores and herbivores can exist side by side in the adult world, because Cherryton is explicitly framed as being its own little microcosm of the world. The reason that like everybody can kind of function in the adult world is because it's an open secret, basically, that every carnivore will eventually have to use the black market at one point or another in their life, you know? Which is, of course, the ultimate crux between like Haru, because like the big revolving point of the show is, of course, like the relationship / romance between Legoshi and Haru, and like the thing that causes such a degree of like pain is this idea that it's like, yeah, you can love somebody, but the whole world is based around this idea that at one point in your life you will have to use the black market just to function in society, because you are a carnivore and you need meat. So how do you accept being in a relationship with somebody whose like species you will have to feed on, even if it is just like, bodies taken from a morgue or whatever, somebody who died in a car crash, you're still having to consume that. And how do you feel like, like morally comfortable with still being in a relationship with
with a herbivore, all things considered, when it's always kind of looming over you that you'll eventually have to, like, you know, eat something, if not her, then something like her.
Yeah.
What do you do? It's super good. Oh my god. Just like it is exactly my kind of melodramatic bullshit that I just eat up. I'm like, yes, as soon as I understood the crux of like the main drama of like the whole show, I was like, absolutely, sign me up, let's do this, I am on board. I watched this whole show in a day. I laid on I was like, I'll watch the first episode of BEASTARS and see how I do. And then I didn't leave my couch until I had burned through all 12 episodes. I'm like, fuck, this is good. I tried to take a break and I went to like clean my house, and then I was like, no, I need to keep watching.
No, you need to keep going.
I need to keep going.
It's aided a lot by the fact that for one thing, the dub is really good.
The dub is incredible. Oh my god, the dub is so good.
The dub is great, and also just like the actual writing is super compelling, and these characters feel really like real and grounded in a way that I didn't expect.
Legoshi is my big dumb boy, my big dumb son.
The awkwardness between Legoshi and Haru in this series is so well done.
Oh, I know.
Compared to other types of romance stories,
specifically in anime.
Yeah, specifically in anime. Like, the awkwardness, like, I don't think I've ever really seen a character's awkwardness presented the way that Legoshi's is. In,
like, a completely human and understandable, like, normal way.
Where he tends to just lock up and overthink things and be afraid to, like, participate.
Yeah.
Where you actually get to hear his inner monologue and talking about, like, how he's really struggling with whether or not he should act or what he should say or what he should do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you don't see that portrayed that way in anime like this.
Yeah, in, like, this very relatably human, which is funny, because, again, you know, wolf boy. But, like, extremely relatably human. It isn't just, like, overthinking. It is a specific kind of overthinking where you want to interact, but you're basically afraid that you're going to say and do the wrong thing and make a fool out of yourself. So instead, you just kind of sit by the side. And I think that's a thing that a lot of totally normal people just experience on a day-to-day basis. And it's really rare, because you get, like, awkward characters in anime, sure, but really rarely do I ever see it portrayed in a way that feels like something I've actually thought in my own head.
It feels sympathetic.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, I normally don't see with the awkward character.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's so good. He's just so damn good. He's just my big, dumb, lanky boy, and every time he does anything, I just want to hold him.
That's also the part that really sells it, is just that Legoshi is huge.
He's huge, but he's, like, skinny. His character design is so solid because he's so tall but so lanky.
Everyone's designs are so rock solid.
Oh god, I know. Haru's design is so aesthetically pleasing that I want to just like squeeze. I just see her and I just like want to just like squeeze her cheeks, you know?
And it just like Legoshi's size is obviously meant to be like an intimidating factor compared to Haru's, because she's very small. And, you know, also to set him up as, like, a predator, you know, a carnivore. He's very tall. Yeah. And big and imposing. But when he's not in predator mode, it also serves to make him look awkward and out of place. And he stands heads and shoulders above everyone else.
Oh, he's so huge, yeah.
He bumbles around, and he's got these giant arms that, like, can swing everywhere, and
he slouches, and he has terrible posture.
Yeah. And it's really great, especially when you compare it to, like, other parts of the world building, which is there are mice people.
Teeny tiny. Yeah, you can step on one.
They're really small. And, yeah, and characters are in constant fear of, like, stepping on them, or, like, there's a bit where, like, two mice complain about they almost got stepped on in lunch.
Yeah. And it's like, that's why you have to stick to the side of the walls, and they talk about things like that, and it's really funny. And yeah, but, like, Legoshi's lankiness is so, ideally teenage boy. Like, I have two younger brothers, and I just remember, like, And we're all tall. Like, my whole family is insanely tall. I'm the shortest one, and I'm almost 6 feet tall. So, my brothers are both very tall. And it's just, I remember how, like, that weird lankiness of being a teenage boy before you haven't quite, like, finished your growth spurt. So you're just all, like, limbs. And that's exactly what's kind of being shown in this character design, where he's just all legs and all arms, and he has an awkwardness because he doesn't really know what to, like, do with himself, and he's like, damn it, I grew again, he's growing out of his clothes already on a daily basis. And it's all of these, like, really great humanizing details that don't really get pointed out in other, like, I don't feel like I don't see it very often, but I also don't watch a lot of, like, boys slice of life anime, mostly because I don't see a lot of boys slice of life anime. It's either all geared toward girls or it's about girls.
Yeah.
But BEASTARS is technically a shonen. It runs in not in Shonen Jump, but it runs in a shonen, one of the shonen weeklies or something, maybe monthly. I don't know. Oh wait, let me see. It runs in Weekly Shonen Champion. So yeah, it's a weekly.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just so charming in its willingness to talk about, like, it's so strange because it is about, like, animals, and it is more so than a lot of other things explicitly about animals, and yet the stuff they talk about still feels like human despite that, like, because it's all about, like, the awkwardness of being a teenager or being in a place where you don't belong or being, like, terrified of the adult world. It's really good, I guess is what I'm saying.
What they do is, normally with this kind of series, you would expect it to be about one or the other, like about the world of the animals, or about the life of teenagers in high school.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of doing both of those in an incredibly interesting and, like, intriguing way that manages to make both sides feel even more, like, real and grounded.
Yeah.
In, like they complement each other that way. And it's just cool.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly cool. I also just checked. This is written by Paru Itagaki, and that is a lady. Paru Itagaki is a woman, furthering my belief that we should just let women write more shonen anime. Because, like, all of my favorites so far are written by women. I mean, like, the greatest one ever written is Full Metal Alchemist, written by Hiromu Arakawa. So it's like, yeah, do that more often. It's so good, damn it. And it's, like, one of the best parts of BEASTARS is, because we were talking about, like, that whole awkwardness that is so good and relatable. And I don't know if it's too early in the episode to talk about the Love Hotel episode, but it's one of the greatest episodes of anything I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was like, really solid.
Oh god, it's so good. Oh my god.
In portraying exactly how that should go compared to what you would expect it to go like in another anime. It
is the least sexy thing in the world, as it turns out, and it owns. It's so good. Oh my god.
Turns out it mostly just sucks.
It's awkward. You don't know what to do with your hands. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to be feeling or doing, and it's all just, oh my god, it's so good. Because it's so endearingly, like, again, teenager. Just the whole awkwardness of, like, he explicitly doesn't know what to do with his hands, and and it's just, and it's like, that's the thing, is that up to the beginning of BEASTARS is kind of like, I will admit they slightly don't do, like, a great job of selling me on why, like Legoshi is so into Haru, but she's cute. Like, I get it. He's a teenage boy and she's just cute, you know? But then eventually we start getting more interactions with them, and they have such good chemistry. Like, they have such good, even though they don't have a lot of, like, really in-depth scenes together until toward the end of the show. But in the beginning, when they're walking together and they're both kind of like, ugh, like, what do I do? But they still have, like, that really good friendly chemistry that I just really, really liked. And then toward the end of it, when we do get the Love Hotel episode, and they're so awkward, and she's usually so like cool when it comes to being with men in the biblical sense, that even she just kind of is like being thrown off guard by it. And then, she tries to stick herself in his mouth, and it's like, oh no! Nothing can ever go right for my poor idiot boy. He's just so damn good.
It's just that moment of like, all right, well, you know what?
Maybe
Never
not.
mind.
Never mind. You know what? Moment's been killed. The mood's been ruined. Never mind. Let's just go to bed.
We're done.
I don't know what to do here, so we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Oh man, it's so great. Those last 3 episodes, they're like normal length. I think they're the normal 22 minutes, and they just feel so long because so much is packed into them, which is cool. I mean, like, it's a good kind of long, not like the bad kind of, oh god, it won't stop dragging long.
Yeah.
But like, it's just so much is packed into them, and like, hey, the animation in the show kicks ass.
It is phenomenal.
Oh god,
I
it's so
cannot believe
good.
Like how good the CG is in this. Like, I will be very upset if season 2 does not continue this quality. I hope they don't pull a One Punch Man.
Well, it's all the same. It's the same studio who's doing season 2, so I'm not too worried. And they're the studio that did Land of the Lustrous, a show you haven't watched yet. And I'm shaking my finger at you through my TV or through my computer, because you should. If you haven't watched Land of the Lustrous, just like anybody listening right now, you should absolutely. It's on Amazon Prime. It's so good. I will tell you, though, that Amazon Prime's subtitles are the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. They are hideous.
They're really bad.
They're so bad. You would think with all the billions and trillions of dollars, they would know how to do a goddamn subtitle.
What happened to white text with black border?
I don't get it. That's it. You don't need to have anything more fancy than that. You just need white text, black stroke around the text. That's it. Like, anybody can read that. It shows up on everything. But you should still watch Land of the Lustrous. It's extremely good. And honestly, I think it might still be prettier than BEASTARS, but that's just by virtue of being about, like, gem people. But even between Land of the Lustrous and BEASTARS, the quality of animation, like the actual physical quality of the animation, is even better. Like, it is stunning. There are certain sequences where it's like, oh, this show couldn't have been like a normal CG. It couldn't have been like a normal anime. There
is the bit where it's Legoshi and I think the Anteater, when they first go to talk to Haru to get flowers for the show.
Yes!
And when he very quickly excuses himself.
Yeah.
And bails on Legoshi, and it's so well animated.
That little funny head bobble he does before he closes the door.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good.
Where you finally get to see Legoshi like stop being so tightly wound and actually like move around a lot.
Yeah. And being like he doesn't have all of his emotions like all bottled up. He's just like, wait, no, you can't leave me alone like this. It's so good. And then the bit where Louis is watching Legoshi's hands while he talks, and he's like really watching the specific gestures, and Legoshi's like long nails, because Louis is a weirdo who has a thing for predators as well. And he's like watching his hands, and like the animations for those hand gestures are just so like fluid and like natural. They just kind of look like the way people talk when they talk with their hands, like the kind of gesturing and waving and weaving. And it's just like, oh man, they are probably maybe the only studio that has done like truly great CGI anime. There's other stuff that came close, but like this just looks incredible. It's so solid and so just fluid. And then the cool thing is when they do kind of slip in like Haru's dream, like the painted dream she has is so just like, there's a lot of really quality animation being done by a CG studio. And I think that owns. It's so good.
It's great, yeah.
I'm so glad. And yeah, I definitely want season 2 should be happening. I think it got confirmed.
It did get confirmed. I don't know when exactly it's coming, but yeah, they are making a season 2.
Please hurry. I want more. I'll probably just dig into the manga, honestly.
Honestly, I think the anime's designs, I never say this about anything, but the anime's designs are so much better than the mangas, in my opinion.
Oh, but I love the mangas. I haven't read it, but I've seen the mangas, and I kind of almost prefer Legoshi's to a degree because it makes his awkwardness even more aggressive. Like, he is so funny looking in the manga because he's so just weird and awkward. Mm-hmm. And I really like it. So I definitely I want to read the manga because I don't want to wait to see where the story goes, for one. You know?
It's one of those weird things where, like, by the end of the first season, I was like, oh yeah, we literally never followed up on the fact that a student got killed.
I was gonna say the same thing! They don't solve that murder! I thought that's what the season was gonna be about, but no. Yeah. Not at all. It's like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a murder show. Okay. No, not in the it is a murder show, just not in the way you're expecting.
All it serves for, at least for season 1, is that it serves as a springboard for getting Legoshi and Haru to meet up.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's because, like, you know, they still need to get into the theater. So he has to play guard, and that is the fateful thing that allows those two to encounter each other. And it's like, that's it. And, like, it's so funny to, when you finish the show, you go like, oh yeah. We never did get that resolution. I'm sure we'll get that resolution eventually. Again, later on in the series, but I was actually pretty surprised to, like, sit back and be like, oh yeah, we didn't solve that murder. You would think that would be, like, the thing, but no. Instead, by the end of it, we got a very cool panda and Legoshi fighting a gang of lions, which is definitely not the turn I expected this show to take.
That panda is, like, the coolest character ever, by the way.
Gohin? It's Gouhin. I think that's Gohin.
He's so
cool. I like it. And Legoshi also just calls him Panda, and he hates it, which I'm cool with. He's so
got
cool.
Like a bamboo crossbow. It's awesome.
I like a man who just, like, builds, like, everything he uses out of his food. Like, because he said, you know, I gave up meat and I just started eating bamboo. And it's like, but you also have, like, bamboo crossbow that shoots bamboo crossbow bolts. It's like, that's really cool. He's just like this
so cool.
backstreet doctor who will show up to help beat up the mob and beat the hell out of mob too. It's just these two guys. That's not what I was expecting at all. It's literally just these two guys, and one of them is a weirdo, 17-year-old. Which is great.
As it turns out, Wolf beat Lion.
Wolf beat Lion, which is, sure, I'll take it. Wolf and Panda. Panda with crossbow beats Lion. But no, speaking of the animation, that fight at the end of the show is such a good, a way to show off the fact that, this show, it could have been done 2D and probably would have looked incredible, just judging by the limited amount of 2D animation we see in this show. But the cool thing about 3D is that you can do all kinds of, wacky camera moves.
Yes.
That you just can't do in 2D. I mean, you can, but, the amount of effort is not feasible. Being
able to manipulate the camera in a 3D environment and set up models how you want them to it requires a whole different set of skills than 2D animation. And you just have so many advantages and disadvantages, but a whole different set of things that you are more like capable of doing, I guess, with 3D. Like it's I wouldn't say it's easier, but like it's more
fluid.
Yeah. It just, you are given that extra bit of creative freedom you don't get in 2D.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing when stuff like this takes advantage of that.
Yeah, actually uses it well. I know that some anime studios use models and then draw on top of the models. The most famous example is actually Ufotable, the guys who do Fate and Demon Slayer. They do a lot of they make the whole show with like rudimentary 3D models and then draw on top of it and then use like really cool post-processing effects to make it all kind of blend. But like a lot of the strictly 3D anime we've been seeing that come out, most infamously Berserk 2016 and 2017.
We don't talk about Berserk in this family.
In this household, we don't acknowledge that those abominations happen. Yeah, you see these shows that have the ability to do cool things with their camera, and they just don't because they're still being hamstrung along by thinking about anime in 2D anime terms. And so very, very rarely, because again, Land of the Lustrous, Orange's other big popular show, does a lot of dynamic character and camera movements as well. We see it a lot in BEASTARS, we see it a lot in Land of the Lustrous, of just these really cool, like, swinging camera shots that can follow a character very fluidly that you just can't, or again, you can do in 2D, but it is a huge pain in the ass. Yeah.
What makes BEASTARS refreshing, and I guess the other comparison we can do is with ArcSys and their 3D modeling. When you look at stuff like Fighters,
yeah,
and how they will distort the models for like, you know, good camera positioning, for, you know, extreme shots, for, you know, heightened senses and stuff like that. Like, that's what you see in BEASTARS a lot, and that's what I think other 3D studios like Berserk don't take advantage of.
Right.
The ability. I always think of the behind the scenes shot of the second JoJo opening, where Caesar's arm had to be like stretched and bent at a crazy angle that's just off camera in order to get the shot to look right.
Right, yeah. And it just doesn't, you know, a lot of shows don't take advantage of the malleability of 3D models to the degree that like good CG does. And you have to just kind of work with your medium in smarter ways to like actually understand it, not just try to replicate 2D. You have to actually do your own thing.
It's the thing we beat into this podcast like every month at least, where it's take advantage of the things that your medium can do that other mediums can't. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, you can't have a lot of the same kind of delicate, like, the kind of delicate artistry that you get with 2D anime. It's harder to get that look in 3D, not without some incredibly detailed models that are not conducive to a TV production schedule or a TV production budget. You have to understand that you are still working on a TV production budget. And I think that's part of why Orange is so successful as a studio, is that they understand like their limitations. And I would love to see them get the money for like a movie, like a Land of the Lustrous movie or something like that, where they're allowed to just kind of go ham and make these like incredibly detailed models. That would be extremely cool. But in the meantime, they work with it really well.
I have a feeling a big chunk of that budget went into the BEASTARS opening theme.
Oh, God! The opening is so good!
I will bet puppets are not cheap.
Those puppets are incredible, too.
They're really, really good.
They're cute and just so fun.
If they were smart, they would sell replicas of those.
Yes! Oh my God, I would buy the Lego She one immediately and instantly. But like, it's so well animated. Like, just the little stop motion dancing is so good. Like the way like Haru's skirt flutters, and it's just done so well, and it's stop motion. It just looks so great, and that song is a fucking banger.
It's up there with Bakano's opening theme.
Yeah, like that fun jazzy beat. It's just great, man. And it does such a good job of like showing like kind of the two sides of the anime, which is at one point just like cute romance and awkwardness of liking this girl, and then also the horror, all of the horrors of murder and wanting to eat meat. And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. It's so great.
That's what I think BEASTARS does really well, is that it really sells that horror aspect. It really presents the threat of carnivores versus, and in a way that's really good, because I like the fact that the carnivores aren't treated with fear a lot of the time. They're like, especially with Louis.
Yeah.
He is disgusted by carnivores. And I think that's just like, you get that interesting dynamic that isn't quite so simple, like we talked about earlier with like the racial allegory aspect. It's different because they're explicitly setting both these sides up as like not a 1-to-1 comparison to real life.
Right, yeah.
So I just think that's like, it's a really good job of building that society. Yeah.
It isn't so complicated. I think in a way, like, herbivores are kind of on top, like they are the dominant class, but to a degree where that is a very tenuous dominant class, where part of the reason, like they don't, they say that, Louis has a target on his back because they don't want him to be the next Beastar, because that would just make carnivores even more of the submissive class. But then you have to remember, too, that, like, the average carnivore could take, like, 6 or 7 herbivores,
Yeah.
And they have, like, the strength and the ability to, just dominate, and that can make them very terrifying to be around. And then you have stuff like the mayor, who literally is so unnerving looking, because he says, like, I had plastic surgery to make myself look more like an herbivore, and I had my teeth filed down.
I wrote that down in my notes, where it's just like, yeah, he had his teeth pulled out and replaced with like flat herbivore teeth.
Yeah, he's got like caps. Yeah.
To be like less more disarming looking.
And then you see him compared to the Shishigumi, who are like for real lions, and it's interesting that the Shishigumi don't look as unnerving as the mayor does. Like, you see the mayor and you're just like, it's major uncanny valley, but that's an intentional thing, because he's got like the beady eyes and the weird teeth, and he's very disingenuous. He seems very nice, and then of course he's also like, no, Louis, you can't go after this girl. It all kind of comes together. And then you see the lions, who are actual gangsters who kill and eat rabbits, and they are at least less strange looking. They're more in their element, and it's like, oh, it's a good kind of way to show the tension in the world of being like, you can embrace what you are, but it will make you, they will make you like a pariah. It will make you a villain. And it's like, how do you let yourself exist with any kind of peace in like a place like that? It's interesting. It's really good. Yeah. It's fascinating.
It's like, like I wrote down the other bit of dialogue that really stuck with me, which was when Legoshi is talking to oh my god, what's the other wolf's name?
Juno.
What's her name? Juno.
The girl?
That's it. Yeah, Juno. When he first meets Juno, and he says like, you'll get used to it when you're older. And then she says, this is something I have to get used to.
Yeah.
Like, that really stuck out with me. It's like, oh yeah, it's just like, it's fucked.
You have to just, at least in Legoshi's mind, you have to just take it. You can't actually push back against being mistreated, because if you do, then you get treated like a monster and maybe run the risk of becoming a monster. And Juno is great. Juno is crazy.
Juno's like nuts.
Juno is nuts, but I respect Juno's game. I just really love the part where she pins Louis, where she just kind of like asserts herself in that really cool way where like they're practicing dancing, and then she just kind of carefully like puts him down on his back and is just like, nope, this is what I want. And it's like she is for real like that kind of girl who is just maybe not not fun to be around because she is kind of entitled to other people's affections and stuff like that, but like is really fun to watch interact with other characters because she's so like, nope, I know. She puts up that whole front of being like of being sad, and of course, I mean, yeah, the bullying sucks shit, but she also very extremely knows what she kind of wants from the world in a way that, say, Lego She just doesn't. Like she knows what she's about.
Yeah, and she's got that, it's that great thing where like where you first see her with a crowd and she's like the friendliest person, and she's talking about how everyone can get along, and we're gonna make this great because we're gonna work together. And it's like, oh, you're that kind of character. Okay,
you're that kind of character. Yeah, you're exactly that kind of you know, two-faced to a degree. Yeah.
Manipulative.
Yeah, but those are the fun kind of characters to watch because you get to see that texture.
And it totally makes sense for her to be like that because the whole thing is that carnivores have to be disarming in the public. And some characters are more comfortable with that. Like Jack is just fine being like
Jack is just
guy.
Jack is just a good boy. He's just a good boy.
You know, and then you get characters like Lego She who want to be disarming, but they struggle with it in a lot of ways. And then you get characters like Juno who know exactly how to be disarming and being totally in control of it, you know?
How to really own the situation.
Yeah.
And kind of assert themselves back at characters like Louis. It's so cool. Just these characters you meet, the ones who are really defined, because there's a lot of kind of background characters because this is a shonen anime, of course. So of course it has a cast of 18,000 people.
Yeah.
All shonen anime is the same. Has too many characters in it. But yeah, you get to see like the texture of all these different characters kind of interacting with each other and pushing and pulling, and it's the good kind of high school drama. Usually I'm not a fan of high school drama animes, but like this time I think it's really good just because you get to it doesn't feel as fake, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
contrived
a sitcom high school. It feels like an actual situation that characters people can be in.
Right. Although I will say, you mentioned Jack, and I gotta bring this up real fast. I know Jack is a dog, and I was like watching the show, and I was like, oh, he's like a dog. He's a cute dog. And then it gets to the cut-in screen when they cut to commercial, you know, and they show Jack's, and they say he's a golden retriever, and I'm like, that's not what a golden retriever looks like at all. It's like my one, because I have one, you know, and I'm like, he's a cute, good boy, but they're shaggier than that. That's my own.
Well, they did shed. They showed that scene where the characters shed the shed.
That's such a good scene. It's so cute. Like, it's just adorable. And it's one of those good little slice of life moments that lets you see just kind of like what being like a normal person in this world is like.
And they're like, you know, oh, this will be great for the crafting club. And it's like, wow, that and the bit where the hen is really proud of her eggs being used for Lego She sandwiches is like really, it's that really solid world building where it makes the animals feel like animals, you know?
Yeah, they're animals who are existing in a society built around being an animal. So you can make money off of selling your shedding for, like, you know, for crafting and stuff like that. You make yarn out of it and things like that. And the hens make extra cash off of selling their eggs, and yeah, it's all those tiny little details that all come together and give you this really good picture of what the world is actually like. And it isn't just kind of like a nebulous, like, you know, we're using the animals as a metaphor for people. No, it's a show about being animals, about being anthropomorphic animals, specifically.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that's good. It all kind of lends, and then it kind of, that all lends itself as well to, like, the more intense stuff, like that whole dichotomy between carnivores and herbivores, and, like, Haru having prey instincts the way that Legoshi has predator instincts. Yeah. So then all that stuff kind of makes sense. It doesn't come out of nowhere, because you start to understand in the back of your head, like, this is a show about animals living in a society. We live in a society.
We do. We live in one.
We live in a society, and so do these animals. And these animals in the society have their own instincts as well. So then when you have like these very small world building moments that lend themselves to making the bigger dramatic moments about being a predator and being a prey, those make sense more to you. They have context. They're not just out of nowhere. It's not like, you know, Haru just sticks herself in Legoshi's mouth and it doesn't come out of nowhere. You understand that this is like the world that these characters are living in. It's good. It's very it just has a lot of depth, and I think it's really smart and interesting world building that isn't just like dumping information on you, you know?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. There is no, I think the only time there's like a real information dump is explaining the concept of a beastar, and that's it.
Yeah. Exactly, you know? And that's because that's like so foreign to like you have to do it that way. Yeah, you have to be like, this is what a beastar is, because we really don't have like an analog for that. I guess, like, I mean, there really isn't any. It's kind of like being a celebrity. It's like winning like but it's, you know, for us, it's like winning like a reality show or something like that. But that's not what that is. Like, no, it's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. It is the most anime in this anime ass anime. The concept of the Beastar is the most anime thing in it. If that makes sense. Louis is set to become Hokage. Yeah. Oh, it's good, but it's not even like Hokage. It's like Miss America. Yeah, but like if Miss America got to make decisions. If Miss America was way more influential. But like, I don't know if the Beastar has any kind of political clout, or if they're just like a Miss America kind of thing where I don't understand the scope of it, because it looks like the only nomination is through Cherryton. Yeah. So is it just like within the city they're the Beastar and like other cities have Beastars too? Or is it like, no, Louis gets to be the most important animal in the world because he won this high school contest? Maybe it is just in the city. Maybe there aren't Beastars in other cities. You know, it's just a local thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the episode where they talked about it to see if I missed anything. But like, the one thing I didn't get a good scope of was that, which is like, what exactly does the Beastar do? Yeah, what does that entail? What does it mean? Is it just like a symbolic thing, or do you have some kind of like political sway? Are you just like a cultural icon? Yeah, I guess that's a good way to describe it, is being like a cultural figure. Yeah. You know? Or like some kind of activist type of figure, like depending on what kind of person the Beastar is, they can be like a social activist or what. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing that gets expanded upon more in the manga, because the one thing is that in the anime, at the very least, the concept of the Beastar feels weird. It just is such a. I didn't expect it to be a thing. Yeah, I just thought that was the name of the show. Yeah, I just thought it was called BeaStars because the stars of this show are beasts. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's an actual thing. A Beastar is a Miss America, status. But with status. With more status. And it's funny because, like, I don't know if they are going to follow up on it because the way Louis' story ends in season 1.
Oh, it owns, though. I'm so proud of my weird boy.
Oh, God, it was so good.
He's so cool. That's the thing. Louis is incredibly cool, and I'm annoyed that, of course, the edgy boy is still the one character. I'm like, he's so cool. I'm the same person no matter where I go. It doesn't matter how old I am or what show I'm watching.
Sarah, Louis is Rufus.
He is. He's just every cool, edgy character that I've ever had, I just thought is cool. Fortunately, I don't actually have like a girl crush on him because I'm not a furry yet. I don't know. Give it a few more seasons, I might be there. But I do think he is extremely cool.
He is. He's awesome.
Because he's just so again, it's a good comparison to Legoshi, who doesn't know what he wants and doesn't know who he is and really doesn't understand his place in the world yet or anything like that. Louis aggressively knows all of those things.
Yeah, and Louis is rock solid in what he wants and who he is.
Yeah, and what he wants to be and the influence he wants to have over the world and all of this stuff. And it still causes him a lot of pain. He still presumably at least has some kind of feelings for Haru, but is also constrained in a way that Legoshi just isn't by status and having all these expectations put upon him. He never really, we get from the whole flashbacks with him and Haru, he's a character who never really gets to be who he wants to be because he has so many more expectations put upon him by adults in the world. No, excuse me, you're wrong. Louis is Goro Akechi.
You're right, he is.
I am. That is the same character. 100%. It's the same, somebody who is expected to be perfect and has ostensibly a psychopath for a father. Because I think the dear guy who adopted Louis was actually running the meat factory. Right?
I think that's what they were implying.
That's how it got across to me, was that the meat factory of herbivores was being run by a deer, which is, again, there's a lot to unpack there, so we're not even going to try. Just throw the luggage out. So yeah, you have this character who just has a lot of expectations put on them, and they are both flourishing and also cracking beneath all of this pressure, and gets to do the big murder at the end of the show.
The big cool murder.
the coolest murder. Good for you, Louis. It's great too. Legoshi just still he's my good dumb boy and has the opportunity to take the kill, and he doesn't because he's just got a heart of gold, even if he does kind of want to eat his girlfriend.
But Louis doesn't.
No, Louis does not. Louis has a big black hole where his heart should be, and it rules. Yeah, I want to see. I probably will end up reading the manga because I want to see where all of this drama goes. I do need to find out, sometimes you can just kind of go. I know it's lazy, and sometimes, people don't like it when you do this, but I also don't care. I'm an adult. Sometimes you can, an anime adaptation is so solid that you don't actually, need to read the manga that it was adapting. Mm-hmm. You can just start where the anime left off.
Right.
I need to find out if BEASTARS is like that, so I can just pick up where the show leaves off.
Right.
And then maybe go back to those first chapters, because it's I just want to know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So,
any big plot things happen that the anime kind of brushed over.
Yeah, I know, because that can be a thing sometimes.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Louis, I will say that Louis, the whole second day of the show with Bill and Louis and Legoshi, that whole confrontation was incredible.
Oh, it's so cool, right?
But also, as someone who did drama in high school, I was silently freaking out a little bit.
It's so dramatic. It was never this serious when we were kids.
Yes, the play was a big deal, But if the star broke his leg, we just wouldn't do the show.
Yeah, if the star specifically breaks his leg while producing the show, then the show gets shut down for a few weeks.
Yeah, we just don't do it.
The show must go on.
Also, he didn't have an understudy. You're just gonna pull one of the other cast members in for the next day? And you're gonna hire a crew member to fill his role?
Yeah.
Like,
Look, don't worry about it.
I get Louis as a perfectionist, right? And, like, he obviously wants to be in control of everything.
Right.
But, dude, you still need an understudy.
You gotta have a backup, so that way, when the star does do something like break his leg, you don't have to worry about shutting the show down. You can just go, oh boy, he broke his leg. We might take a day off and then pull the understudy. Yeah. Instead of just getting a random stagehand to play the villain role now.
Who is deliberately a stagehand because he's very nervous in front of crowds.
Yeah, let's just put poor Legoshi out in front of everyone. And then, Legoshi's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. No, buddy, you don't gotta. It's okay. I know you want Louis to like you, but this is intense, my mans.
And then the fact that they get into an actual fist fight is like, that's why.
But
that's why you don't do this.
That's why you don't do it, but also is extremely cool.
It was extremely raw.
It's the first very, very cool fight in the show, and it looks great. And boy, sometimes though, characters in the show, very dramatic things happen, and they're just kind of like, well, time to get back to being normal. And I guess that's kind of like a thing. I guess that kind of makes sense because sometimes bad things happen in the real world and you go, I'm just going to act like everything's fine because otherwise I'll go crazy. But also, Legoshi buddy, he fucked up your back.
Yeah, and then you're just like friends afterward. Like it stops mattering.
Maybe that's an animal thing. Maybe it's just the fact that they're living in an animal world and it's like, you know what? That's just going to happen sometimes, man. Yeah. Y'all are both carnivores. It's cool.
I did like the bit where Louis had to improvise like why the show was different the second day.
Yeah.
Because like he was yelling them out, and then like the crowd appeared, like the crowd manifests behind him.
Yeah. all the fangirls pop up, and he's like chewing them out, and then as soon as other people show up, he's like, "Never mind, everything went perfectly, and don't you dare say otherwise." It's a man who knows how to work PR.
Right.
It's so good. What else before we wrap it up? What else you got in your notes? I know you take notes like a good student.
Let's see. What else did I write down? There was one bit that like completely threw. And so what I do is sometimes when I'm watching stuff like this is I try to like, because the show does a really good job of world building, mm-hmm. My brain will focus on the implications of things. Mm-hmm. And there is one that like completely stunned me, and I don't want to think too hard about it.
Oh boy.
But it was the bit where Haru mentions Bambi. And I don't like the implication that there's a Walt Disney allegory here. Because for the most part, it can be fine, you know? Like, okay, it's Snow White, but she is a deer person.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Bambi is explicitly about a regular deer.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in the BEASTARS world?
I don't know. One, just to point this out, probably a dub edition, but also two, I don't know. Like, what would that look like? Is it just like is it like, oh god, is it like Grave of the Fireflies, but like for BEASTARS?
The BEASTARS version of Bambi is just this like horrible fucked up nightmare movie.
It's just this horrible movie about this young boy having to come to terms with like his mother being murdered and like going to live with his father, but like his father is really aloof. And it's like, wait a second, this is just like some sort of extremely sad anime now.
What does the Disney version of like Fox and the Hound look like?
Oh god. Oh no. Or like The Lion King. That's just Hamlet. What am I saying?
The Lion King is just Hamlet.
That's just Hamlet. That's just,
and
it's fine.
Robin Hood is the same too.
Of course. Don't think about it. You're right. Don't think about it too hard. It'll start making you feel crazy.
The only one you don't have to worry about is Robin Hood. That one's just the same, no matter what.
That's just the same. It's just See, BEASTARS is the modern version of Robin Hood because it's going to create a whole new generation of furries. That's what it is. It's a bunch of But the funny thing about it being on Netflix and it being about like animal people is that there is a non-zero chance some impressionable, I don't know, 13, 14-year-old will watch BEASTARS and come out of it being like, oh no, I'm one of those now. I sure hope this doesn't awaken something in me.
Netflix is like, oh no. It's just those are just the things that I think about, and then I'm like, this is not an important thought.
Don't think about it.
Focusing on this, but I'm like, but what does it look like though?
But what does it mean?
When you have a world that's like it's the real world, but they're animals, then it's like, well, you're also implying that like certain things still happen in this world to get to the society we're in today.
But like at the same time, I think BEASTARS is explicitly like not Earth.
Right, yeah, it's not a one-to-one thing.
Right, exactly, which is good, because I don't want to think about, like, I don't know, like President Roosevelt as like an ostrich. Or something, you know what I mean? Like, let's just not. I think that will make you crazy. That actually will make you insane. So...
It's also the fact that, like, you know, like insects still exist, but they're not like people, they're just bugs.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. Apparently the ocean is a thing. I know that fish, they can eat fish, right? We saw that. There were fish.
Were there? I can't remember now. I don't think so.
I swear to God, I
think it was just like tofu and eggs.
Maybe. But I do know the ocean is a thing in the manga, and like there's stuff attached to the ocean and its society, which again is another reason I've got to go read the manga.
Right.
I want to see what else is going on in this fucking show, not game. What would that even look like? Visual novel. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's a visual novel. Yeah.
Visual novel. What am I saying?
With brief moments into like character action.
Where you have to fight Bill on stage.
Yeah,
it's good. Anything else in those notes of yours, buddy?
Let's see. Nope, that was about it, really. That covered most of what I was thinking about while watching this. Yeah, just all in all, like an incredibly well-written show with super endearing characters that like I actually feel invested in a way that like I don't normally get while watching anime or reading manga. Yeah.
Haru is, as the show goes on, especially a standout. Like, her and Legoshi are just such, like, their dynamic is so good. Their romance is really fun and interesting, especially toward the end there, with all the intense awkwardness that comes along with it. I really want to see, like, how all of that develops, and the ending shot of them holding hands is just like, it's so good. It's just on point. It's perfect.
Also, really cool to hear Lara Jill Miller again.
What else has she been in?
She was in Digimon.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she's done a whole lot of stuff, but like she's been doing that specific voice for like every character she does.
But see, that's the thing, is that I guess because I haven't seen the stuff she's been in, part of the reason I really like Haru too is her dub voice is so different. Like, it isn't like a normal kind of girly girl voice. It has kind of scratchy, not necessarily cute quality that I really like. You could think it'd be really easy to just give Haru, because she is, you know, adorable little bunny girl. It'd be easy to give her a very kind of feminine sounding voice, but she has this kind of scratchy, almost pouty quality to her voice.
A level of like cynicism to it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's solid. it's not what you would expect in a good way. So the voice casting in this show is just phenomenal. Oh my god, where are they finding all these Troy Baker clones? That's what I want to know. I am beginning to assume there is just a lab somewhere that is producing them, and then they'll all go off and they make their own successful careers. You start a D&D podcast that makes like $1 billion a year. You go off and you do actual movies or whatever. And then they're like, well, shit, we're out of Troy Baker clones. Quick, make another one. And it just keeps on happening.
You would also recognize Lara Jill Miller because she was I think she was one of the Tachikomas. I think she was like
She's
the primary one.
What? No, wait, we gotta hold on.
I think she was Bato's Tachikoma.
Shut up. All right, no, hold on. She is Tachikoma! Oh my god. I love her. I've changed my mind. She's perfect.
She's also Kyrathi in Kingdom Hearts, which is really cool.
Okay.
That's like, I've heard her voice since I was a kid, and I can always recognize it immediately.
Oh yeah, when you look at her, she does like, I'm looking at her Wikipedia page right now, and she literally, it lists like her anime roles, and it goes 2010 to 2020.
Yeah.
Like, she's been doing American stuff in the last 10 years, and so this is one of her first anime roles in apparently a long time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she was Kari in Digimon. That's how I immediately honed in on her voice. But yeah, like, it's cool, like, you know, I don't know any of the other actors besides Ben Diskin as Jack, but like everyone else seems like a relatively new actor.
Yeah, I think most of them are newcomers.
Which is cool. We're actually, like, we're on the verge of, like, the shift to new talent.
Yeah, Kaiji Tang is in there, though. He's Bill.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
Okay, so there's a handful of old ones in there. Like, Kyle Hebert is in there.
Oh, yeah, I totally recognized whenever his characters would show up.
Yeah, Erica Harlocker is in there, Bryce Papenbrook, but they're all playing, like, minor characters, like Christina V. Like the main characters are all...
Yeah,
like new
Legoshi
guys.
is a completely new, like, he hasn't done much of anything.
Yeah, neither is Louis. Like, I have never heard Griffin Puatu? Ugh, sorry. I've literally never heard of him or Legoshi's voice actor ever, but they do incredible jobs. They're
phenomenal.
Really good. Oh my god. So yeah, the English voice cast of this show is a standout. I should watch it also in Japanese just to kind of see the differences, because I know that Legoshi in Japanese sounds like really different. Like he's not quite as level as the English version, but I like that quality of English Legoshi, but I still want to see what it sounds like in Japanese as well. So
right,
we'll probably come back to BEASTARS after I inhale the manga at some point.
Yeah, after season 2 comes out and everything.
Yay! Season 2.
I'm so glad it got confirmed.
Announce the day when thing. Please tell me when. Yeah, no, BEASTARS. It's good.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
Really good. That's all I got. Do you have anything?
Nope, I'm good. I got it all out of my system.
Cool. All right, that'll do it for us then. Thanks, Broker Free Fuse, for background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. And if you want to hear Sara talk about her other podcast, which is about to do something really, really cool, you can listen to her talk about it now.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out lots of different systems. We have fun. Right now, we are in the finale of Blades in the Dark. Our extremely cool system and game based around doing heists in like a Victorian steampunk, but not quite setting. We are doing our final heist now, which is a 3-day trip to try and rob a train across an endless ocean. It is extremely cool. It's very detailed. We've got maps. We've got all kinds of crazy things. I'm about to tomorrow record probably 2 more episodes of it. So you should come check us out now, since the block is wrapping up, and then we'll have new fun things coming as well. We're at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks!
And if you're watching this today, then tomorrow we are going to be trying to finish at least, our stream of Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII for BLM and the National Bail Fund network.
Yes.
So come check that out. If you were listening to this episode, then it already happened. Sorry.
Hopefully you saw us post about it on Twitter.
But also, you should still donate to those two things, because that would be cool of you, but you won't be able to do it on stream, because the stream is over by now.
Sorry. I think we'll be able to get it finished in 3 hours. Hopefully. I feel like we can. That game is super short.
So,
that'll do it for us.
Yep, that'll do it for us. What do you got for this one?
Geez, everybody in this show is really likable. That's the problem.
That's the huge problem.
I don't really, hate anybody in this show, or really hate, any, even, the bad guys were kind of interesting, the lions and stuff. I guess fuck the lions. Fuck the Shishigumi. The lead of the lions. The whole stripping Haru thing was, egregious and did not need to happen and sucked. So fuck that. Fuck the lions. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.